Part of the team, man. I tell you, part of the team.
Welcome to Tampa Bay. We buck 'em up when we raise the flag. Fire the cannons and seize the day. The crews...
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Loose Cannons. I'm your boy, Sammer, with my victory shades, hanging out with my barefoot brother, Stanker, and of course, the Battlehawks of St. Louis defensive coordinator, Donnie Abraham, the pride and joy of Orangeburg, South Carolina, the East Tennessee legend, freaking NFL Pro Bowler, one time led the freaking league in interceptions. I believe it was 1999. Should be a Buccaneers Ring of Honor inductee by now. Bucs legend, one time turned a cornerback blitz into a fucking pick six on national television in front of the entire world.
From the entire world.
And of course, a honor higher than any of the ones I've just listed off, a Loose Cannons Hall of Fame member.
Not even close. Like this, it's such a bigger award. It's the biggest award you can really get in this arena.
Absolutely, absolutely. Appreciate that intro. I got my victory glasses on today.
Works.
My victory orthopedic shoes on as well. Donnie, we experienced a game that was basically 57 minutes of pure garbage, and then 3 minutes of glory, absolute glory. We overcame a holding penalty that took back a fucking touchdown. We still scored another touchdown. We overcame two really stupid fourth down decisions. I mean, and of Tom Brady playing like absolute garbage, but then Tom Brady also playing like an absolute legend. Whew. Donnie, what the fuck's going on with this team, man?
Hey, that's what makes NFL games so fun, because the emotions that you go through during a game. Could you imagine being a player going through those emotions? Because you're in the stands freaking out. Like, I know y'all were freaking out because I saw the Twitter stuff and all of that, and Instagram and all of that. So I know y'all were going crazy. But then, like you said, 3 minutes, just glory and joy. Glory. That's perfect football. That's perfect football. Just like Brady said, that's how they planned it out. I mean, it was awesome. It was awesome to see.
You believe that, Donnie?
Yeah. I believe the GOAT. I believe the GOAT.
Oh, you believe the GOAT. All right, since you played
Listen, Donnie, I didn't even catch the best meltdown ever. Sammer was scaring women and children. He was freaking out. And you want to know what it was over?
Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
Over Todd Bowles not declining the penalty, which allowed the Saints to move back a little further to get some extra room for punt. So the Saints did the delay game or whatever they did.
Yeah.
And he didn't decline it. Right. And Sammer completely exploded.
He lost it.
He lost it.
Yeah.
He's like, Todd, why aren't you declining it? Decline. People are looking from like sections over, like he's a lunatic, screaming. It was embarrassing.
Well, you know what? Listen, Donnie, you don't have to accept that penalty, and we've accepted it all season long, which only helps the offense that you're facing. It helps them get the extra cushion to nail you inside the 10. And every single time we've accepted a penalty, we start either inside the 5 or inside the 10. And I don't understand why we haven't told hey, coach, listen, dude, we can decline that penalty, dude. Why? Like, I'd rather take my chances that they pin us at that point. Then it's an amazing, perfect punt. Hey, it happens. Or more than likely, we're at the fucking 20 instead of the 10 or the 11. And at that point, we're punting it back anyway. It's like, it drove me nuts. I was like, that's it. If this happens an 8th time this season, I'm going to fucking lose it. And I just lost it, dude. I could not deal with it.
So you lost it on that one. So
yes.
we probably go get to this later, but what do y'all take on the decision that he made the punt with, like, was it 6 minutes left?
I liked it.
It was 6 minutes left, right, or something like that.
4th and 10 from our 20. We weren't going to convert that, man. That was we had no momentum. Nothing was working. The Saints defense was eating at that point. It was the right call. It was the right call.
I agree. I agree.
I disagree.
I know Sammer don't agree, but he,
I disagree, because think about it like that. You're down 13 points. For you to get the ball back, you have to get a 3 and out, or you have to get lucky. And you know what? In this league and in this game, you're gonna eventually give up a lucky bounce. And if that lucky bounce happens, you're taking that chance. And two, you're telling your team, I don't believe in you guys. We're just gonna have to go ahead and play conservative. Like, you got to sometimes step.
But Sammer, if you don't get it, the game is over.
Right. But it's over either way at that point, though.
It's not
necessarily
over. We won the game. So Sammer, let me play devil's advocate here. What is the best out of the 3 phases of our team? What is the best phase?
Defense, clearly.
Defense.
I disagree
so
with the call.
And you put it in the defense's hands to have to get a 3 and out, and that's what they did.
I agree. I understand that call. The one that bothered me way more is the one where we were on their 40, and it was like 4th and 3, 4th and 2 maybe, or maybe it was 4th and 7. Whatever it was, regardless, we should have gone for it. And instead we tried our guys out there, then we call timeout, and then we change our mind and put out the punt unit, and we don't even try to get the delay game, FYI. We end up punting into their end zone. So we actually ended up trading off 20 yards total when they got the ball back at the 20. And it was just like, dude, at that point, if you trust your defense, go for it. What's the worst that can happen?
It was 4th and 2. It was 4th and 2.
Even if you don't get it, your defense is going to be out there either way. It's 20 yards difference.
Right.
If you comment, Sensei.
If I don't know if they ended up scoring a field goal on that drive or not. I don't remember exactly. I didn't look back and watch it yet, but it doesn't matter. It's just that whole thought process. It's the thought process that bothers us, Donnie. And I was going to get your thoughts on your defensive player. You played in that Dungy era. We've asked you this question a million times. Like, what are you seeing from this team in terms of how their defense is just doing literally everything possible to win a game, and it's just coming down to this, like, the final thread, if that, at times. It happened in Cleveland. We didn't pull it out.
Right.
And then, obviously, last night we did pull it out. But what's it feel like as a defensive player to be on that side of the ball with this is the kind of shit going on?
It just feels like you have to be perfect. Defensively, you can't give up any plays when the team is like this right now, where you really can't rely consistently on the offense. So defensively, you got to try to play perfect ball. So any normal play that happens to a defense is normally okay. It happens. Offensive players get paid too. They can make plays as well. But when your structure is set up like what the Bucs are going through this year, a big play is like more elevated or more, because we know we struggle offense a little bit. So anything you give up on defense is just like, it's more elevated, is more like, you kind of get like, oh no, we can't do that because we know we're struggling offensively. So it just makes it defensively, it makes you have to try to play perfect. And when you try to play perfect is when you tend to make some mistakes. So any missed tackle, any big pass, giving up, it's like, oh no, we can't do that, So it makes it a little difficult. It puts the pressure on the defense, but that's why they get paid the big bucks.
Do you think that's unfair?
I don't think it's unfair. I just think because when you look at it defensively, your job is to go out and stop the offense no matter what. So it doesn't matter if, per se, your offense is struggling a little bit. It doesn't matter if it's sudden change or you're put in a bad situation. Your job defensively is to go out and stop them. So it's their job.
Donnie, you're a defensive guy, but you're a football coach. You've been around football your entire life. You probably played offense as well. If you had to guess, what really is the issue with this offense? Because clearly we have the horses, at least from the skill position standpoint. Right. Is it they are playing conservative and trying to play these games close like this and not make any mistakes on offense, or is it bigger than that?
I just think there's really no answer for that. I just think it's one of those years for our offense. You can't explain it because, like you said, we have the players. We 2 years ago we went to the Super Bowl. I'm like, we have the players. It's just one of those years for our offense, and they keep trying to find a way. Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, they're gonna snap out of it. They're gonna snap out of it," and every week it looks the same. And then you get spurts. Like the last 3 minutes of the game or whatever, you get a spurt where they just look awesome, and then you like, why can't we do this all the time? But guess what? They are trying to do it the whole game, but for some reason, it's just not happening. And then they get down to a point where they have to make plays and they have to get it done. And then luckily we get it done. And then luckily our conference is not a good division, is not a good one. So we're still in first place. But it's just one of those things, man. You just can't explain. I mean, it happens, and no matter how much you try to, because I guarantee you they don't go in the game saying, hey, we gonna stink it up the whole game, and then the last the last minute we gonna come alive. They don't they don't go into a game saying that. They go into the game every week saying we're gonna dominate, we're gonna move the ball, we're gonna score a lot of points, but for some reason it's just not happening.
Yeah, but the mentality can be different, right? One head coach can say, listen, we're gonna take a lot of shots, right? We're not gonna settle for just playing the check down game and try to go on 12 play drives every series. We're gonna take our shots. We're gonna be aggressive. It doesn't seem like that's the philosophy here anymore.
And it may not seem like that because it's not happening, but I guarantee you Brady has the ball in his hand every snap.
Yeah,
and I guarantee that the head coach is not telling him don't throw it to Mike Evans or don't throw it deep. If he's open, throw it. So Brady has it. So if he wants to take more shots, I feel personally he can take them.
Yeah, I agree.
I just think he's going through his reads and he's just trying to move the ball and do this, and he's the one not really being aggressive. And then when he does be aggressive, he's a little bit off. The ball's either short underthrown or it's a little too long. And then if he doesn't complete it, he's like, okay, I'm not gonna mess with it anymore because I'm not completing those balls. I'm just go back to my dinking and dunking and making short passes,
Bingo.
Donnie, with that being said, okay, a lot of times last night, I understand when there seems to be pressure coming down on any quarterback in the league, their tendency is going to be to look to the quicker check down passes or look down at the line and get rid of the ball as quickly as possible. But too often yesterday or last night, it seemed that Tom was like 1-2 seconds, ball is out, doesn't even look towards the bunch formation. Guys are getting open, or it doesn't even give enough time for that play to develop anyway. And there is no pressure. So, and then you couple that with not looking towards Mike and not looking towards Chris, mostly Mike though, and having Mike running open a lot, and not in times that Tom is under pressure, when Tom is not under pressure. And so, is there a chemistry problem? Is there a disconnect? Is this Tom not having confidence in the guys around him? What do you see? Because you faced off against offensive players, obviously. What do you see when you see the way Tom's body language and the way he's choosing to throw the ball in these moments, especially last night, between him and Mike and between him and just dumping off the ball before the plays even had a chance to... I mean, it's like 1 second in, dude. He's already thrown the ball to the running back, which you're like, there's no way you went through a progression on that. There's no way.
Right. Well, I just think one thing, Tom's 45 years old. So already quarterbacks don't like to get hit at all. But especially if you're 45 years old, because that hurt, when you get hit. When you fall on the ground, it hurts when you're 45 and been playing that long. And it's one of the things where once you get into a rhythm, like you said, 1-2 second throws, that's what you're in. It's hard to get out of that because you're not used to your line holding up enough. Right. So your mindset and your rhythm has gotten into quick, yep. Because my line is not going to hold up. Now, if I'm going to take a shot, that requires me to slide in the pocket or maybe move over here or step up or to do some of those things. And it just looks like right now he's not willing to do those things to take those hits. Right. Because when you take a shot, you're going to take a hit.
But what does that tell your teammates, Donnie? What is that like if you played with a guy who didn't want to put his shoulder down and lay down the tackle, all right, and you're the DB or you're a linebacker and you're seeing guys kind of play a little bit off. They're not leaving it all on the field. What does that say to your teammates, and how does that make you feel as a teammate when you see, put yourself in Mike Evans' shoes, for example. The guy leaves it on the field every fucking time he's out there. Whether he performs, has a good game, whatever it is, he still leaves it on the field. And so, is that a thing, or is that not? Is that something that we've all kind of conjured up as fans and media and all that kind of shit?
Well, I think it's just conjured up because you got to remember every position is different. We're saying because he's getting rid of the ball, he's not doing that. He's not laying on the line, but he is. A quarterback laying on the line is different than a wide receiver laying on the line. It's different than a running back laying on the line. So I just think that kind of gets caught up a little bit. Tom he's laying it on the line. I mean, he's giving everything he's got. This is just what it is this year. And it's been like that all year. And once you get in that funk, I won't say funk, but once you get into a rhythm of ball coming out, ball coming out, ball coming out, it takes a minute for you to adjust mentally to be able to, okay, now let's take a shot. How am I going to maneuver in this pocket? How am I going to do this? And he's already not a mobile guy. So it takes extra effort for you to hold that ball, move in the pocket, than it does for you, okay, this check down is open, get it to him right now, let's see what can happen.
So
because
Donnie,
it takes time.
Donnie, we don't criticize Mike Evans on this podcast. We have a no criticism rule on this podcast of Mike Evans, but you don't. And you hate wide receivers, right? Yeah. You eat wide receiver cereal for breakfast. You shit out wide receivers when you go to sleep at night. What are you seeing from 13 out there, Donnie?
You shit when you sleep? Stink?
Before he goes to bed at night. And sometimes I do shit, bro. I'm old now. It's hard to get out of bed sometimes. And when you got to go, you got to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Donnie.
I mean, I think like you said, Mike, like I love Mike as a receiver. He's laying it on the line. Again, can you say 100% every player on the football field goes hard and full speed 100%? No. You can't say that.
We talked about a lot with 45, did we not?
Right. And the fact that you got to understand why receivers run more than anybody on the football field. Anybody. Because they have to run full speed and they don't even know if they're getting the ball. Now they got to run back to the line, to the huddle, go back out there, run full speed again, go back, run full speed again. It's impossible to be 100% full speed on every snap. So Mike is competing, man. He's laying it on the line. When his number's called, he's making plays. Does he have as much juice as he had when the season first started? No, nobody does. So that could be why some of those misses on those long balls are happening as well too. Tom got to realize, he's throwing to Mike. Mike's a long strider. It's later in the season. Maybe I just put a little bit more air under it and let him go make plays or get PIs. But don't overthrow him or don't do anything like that. Scotty, on the other hand, now you can just throw it because he can run.
I mean,
so just throw it.
But he's been underthrowing and overthrowing guys basically all season. It's like he underthrows the wrong guys, and he usually overthrows the wrong guy as well. It's like it's getting a bit like when you see. I'm big on body language. I've been like the whole season seems to be something that keeps coming up for me. And you're a former player, so when you see Mike jogging back to the sidelines off of running basically gassers the entire fucking night sometimes, and the way that him and Tom interact or don't interact, is there something there, Donnie? Is there something that is that just regular spur of the moment type of just frustration of being in that moment?
That's just elite players frustrated because they're not making plays that they normally make. That's all it is. That the body language is because they're disappointed that they're not making those plays and they know they can make them. And that's what that body language is,
Well, for the first time this season, the press conference after the game, Tom said, I missed some throws early in the game. Maybe he said it in other press conferences, but the first time I heard him say that, we've all seen that. We've all seen that. Going back to what you said about him having a quick clock in his head, and it's kind of hard once you get in that rhythm. And then you got a guy like Mike who isn't really that quick type receiver who's going to be through his out of his break quickly. Maybe he's not looking at Mike because he knows in 3 seconds Mike's not going to be where he needs to be at because he needs that 5 seconds to get.
But that doesn't explain Chris Godwin being wide open on a bunch formation. Prime example. Like, you're putting that bunch formation is not being put together to get a running back the ball. That bunch formation is there to get the DBs confused, have somebody go the wrong way, and get one of those 3 guys open. Tom doesn't even look towards that bunch formation on 2 of these plays last night and goes straight after one. The ball is barely in his hands before it's already in Fournette's hands.
Right.
That's not pressure.
Well, maybe that bunch is meant to be a decoy in that particular play.
Right. I was just about to say it depends on game planning for the week as well too. So there's different things as a defensive team that you do to bunch formations. Maybe the Saints did things really good to bunch. So all week they decided, okay, we'll put the bunch over here because we know they're going to roll the coverage, because the bunch can either be played 3-on-3 or it can be played 4-on-3. And if you got 4-on-3 to the bunch, then your odds are better opposite to the other side. So it could be a lot into that of why he wasn't looking to the bunch.
Both times Chris Godwin was wide open. They didn't even go with it.
But it takes a second for all that crossing to happen, and you don't, as a quarterback, you don't know if defenders are going to screw it up. You don't know if they're going to get picked. So again, you got to wait till the bunch clears. You got to wait till everybody clear before you can get to it. And if he's not, that clock in his head, man, it's a little rush right now. He may be saying, okay, I'm gonna just take this safe route and take this back.
Donnie, has the pick play become like traveling in basketball? Like, refs just don't care anymore. Like, they're constantly picking corners left and right. It's obvious, but they never call it. It happened in this game.
Right. They're not gonna call it. You're exactly right. It's becoming like the traveling. They're just like, oh well. I just thought if any advantage that a player tries to get is a foul. You know what I'm saying? The defensive guy puts hands on it is a foul. Receiver running into another DB to pick is a foul. But it's not going to be called because we all know this offensive league. They want to see points scored. So,
Donnie, well, if that's the case, then why are we doing it? Why aren't we out there picking people?
Yeah,
I think we try sometimes, but
we try to pick out of our bunch sets and stuff like that. Yeah.
Most of the time, Julio tackles the wide receiver with the ball, though. That's the problem.
That was a hell of a tackle by Julio.
Hey,
it was
barely even had to turn around. One-handed tackle. That's something that you teach. As Donnie, you played corner. Obviously, you faced off the wide receivers. When you face a guy like Mike Evans, do you currently think that the way they are utilizing him, the routes that he's running, are they bailing out the DBs that are having to deal with him by putting them kind of in a place where they're not utilizing his actual skill set? Because I know he has a long stride. I'm sure he can get after balls, go deep. He's done it all his career. But that's not truly what he is. He's not a deep threat by the definition, right? Whereas Chris Godwin is more twitchy. Chris Godwin can run better, crisper routes, can kind of get out of his break and create separation. Do you think, in your honest opinion, that they're using Mike in his best routes in terms of the trees that they're putting him in as a DB, or are they helping you as a DB with what they're making him run?
Well, again, hard question to answer, Sam, because I don't know. I don't know the offensive scheme. I don't know what they're preparing every week and what they're doing with him. So I honestly can't answer that. The only thing I can say is a lot of times when you have tendencies on receivers, what offensive coordinators and receiver coaches will do is trying to break some of those tendencies. So if a guy is a long strider, he likes to run these type of routes, well, guess what the defense is going to prepare for all week? They're going to prepare for those type of routes. So now you throw them with, okay, Mike is not normally the guy to run these routes. This week he is going to be that guy, because the defense haven't prepared for that. So it could be, it is a lot of layers to that question, Sammer. I don't truly know how to answer that because I'm not in the building every day with their schemes and stuff.
Well, one thing's for certain, you got to use Mike in the red zone. And I get that they want to run the ball down to the 1 yard line and punch it in every series. But you got a guy like Mike and a guy like Julio, by the way, who plays way above the rim. You saw that incredible acrobatic catch there towards the end of the game. Mm-hmm. Like, why aren't we utilizing these guys' range and height and as we get down into the red zone? It seems like we're a matchup nightmare for the smaller corners when we got these towering wide receivers who can go up, covered or not, and sky and out rebound these safeties and corners for the ball every single time. But we just don't seem to be attacking the red zone in that way.
We don't even throw the ball to the end zone. Like we try to cross the end zone as opposed to just like what. I didn't mean to hijack your question there, Stank. I just want to add to that. But go ahead, Donnie.
No, Samer, what you wanted to say is this offense is first in left which, second left which, third in left which. Is that what you said?
Punt.
During the game?
Yeah. Basically.
And punt.
Well, it worked on the last play.
It did.
Yeah, but that's
we
that
threw
was
in front of the line.
But the play before that where we scored, we actually threw the ball into the end zone and good things happened. When we got the ball to Cade Otton on the touchdown, we threw the ball over the goal line and into like how is that not the first instinct for this team when they're in the red zone? Inside the 10, 3 plays, all of them behind the line of scrimmage or at the line of scrimmage. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it does. I don't know the numbers on that, but it does make sense. We got the big wide receivers out there. Everything is fades and back shoulder fades, and that you see every week. Offense is doing. I don't know how much we do it. I don't know what the percentage is, but we do have the guys for that.
Definitely do.
I was gonna kind of pivot towards the defense a little bit, Donnie. When you saw that, injury report come out, Mike Edwards, Antoine Winfield not playing, 2 starting safeties. Guys are ball hawks for this team, big parts of this team, especially Antoine because he goes down, slides into the nickel, covers usually the best receiver or their tight end in times. We got a guy in Keanu Neal steps up. We got a guy in Logan Ryan coming back from injury. And Keanu Neal, while he did give up that touchdown, I thought he played fucking awesome last night. But talk a little bit about that guy's fucking massive, could have been probably the game-winning hit to knock that ball out on 3rd and 17, man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, that was a big play. And you kind of, when plays like that happen, you see social media, you see people respond. One that came to my mind is former NFL player, head coach for the St. Louis Battlehawks, my head coach, Anthony Beck. His comment was, the middle of the field is for tight ends. Why are we throwing it to a quarterback? So that might have helped us that they did throw it to a quarterback because a tight end is a bigger body. He may have been able to hold on to that ball. Possibly. So I'm thankful that they did throw it to a quarterback and we were able to dislodge it and stuff. But that was a huge play in the game, and that was a big hit.
Hey, Donnie, you're in a different league. Do they have the same pussy ass rules as they have in the NFL, where you can't touch players anymore, you can't tackle them, you can't hit them? Because if so, that Keanu Neal hit is like the poster hit for what the NFL really wants, right? The sweet spot, not too high, not too low, right in the Goldilocks zone, dislodge the ball. Are you going to be using that kind of shot? Are you guys allowed to hit in the XFL?
Well, we're going to be, so get this, we're going to be using NFL rules, right?
Okay.
But I don't think they're going to be as strict based on what I've seen in 2020 in the XFL before, and then the AAF when I played in it. They weren't as strict as the NFL is. So they tell us NFL rules, right? But guess what the rule of a catch is going out of bounds?
1 foot?
1 foot.
Okay, so college rules.
It's college rules. So don't say NFL rules, and then you allow this to happen because they want to see completions and they want to see points. If it's NFL rules, it's 2 feet. How do you go NFL rules, but, oh, by the way, we want the receivers to have the advantage, and we're going to say they can only have 1 foot in? I'm like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't match.
Yeah, I agree.
That doesn't match.
Especially if you got guys who are essentially trying to use this opportunity to get attention,
right?
To get into the NFL. You want them to practice like NFL players, right?
Exactly.
Listen, you got the Rock's number? Because I can tend to get, explain things properly. I know Sammer, nobody can seem to tell Sammer no. You get the Rock and Sammer together.
Listen, once I beat him in paper, rock, scissors, he's going to owe me one at that point, right, Donnie? So,
oh yeah.
You're also the only person on the planet to call it paper, rock, scissors. The only person.
I call it rock, paper, scissors.
You just said paper, rock, scissors.
Yeah.
You did.
Oh, that must have been I was trying to disrespect The Rock. I tried to get in his head already. I don't want him to think that rock, paper, scissors, that puts him right at the top of the totem pole. Can't have that. Can't have that at all.
You might can't call him The Rock now. You might have to call him Dwayne Johnson now.
Hey, call him whatever I want to call him. All right, he calls me.
I'm just saying that's
that's your boss, Donnie, not ours.
Exactly. That's what we revised to call him as XFL employees. We got to say Dwayne Johnson.
Oh wow.
DJ, you can hit him with the DJ for a second.
Hit him with DJ.
Yeah.
Speaking of coaching, Donnie, now you're a coach. I got to ask you, man. The most frustrating thing about watching this team. I know we got the W. It was awesome that we got to sweep the Saints. The way it happened, it was awesome in that moment. But
so good.
Yeah, I mean, you could put powdered sugar on a turd. It's still a fucking turd. It's not going to be a fucking donut. So I got the most frustrating thing about this team is that it seems that they don't do the things that benefit them or work the most with their personnel until they're absolutely forced to do so. Yep. They don't play Rashad White until they absolutely have no choice because Lenny gets hurt. They don't have Nick Leverett starting until they have no choice because Gadecki goes down with injury and they have to. And now they're going to keep him in there. Same thing with Kate Otten. Same thing with having to throw the ball to Keith because he's last-minute resort. But now this offense doesn't attack the field in a non-conservative manner until they have to. I mean, and even when they were down with 7 minutes left, they still didn't think that they had to attack the field. It took until the last 3 fucking minutes of this game for them to be like, you know what? Let's go ahead and throw the ball down the field. How does that happen? What is the mindset there from a coaching perspective to hold it so close to the vest until you have absolutely no reason not to, as opposed to just changing these things throughout the week or adjusting as the weeks go on or coming out of the bye week, self-scouting, saying, you know what, we're better when we do this. Let's fucking do it from the get-go. What is that? How is that something that's happening on an NFL team and not an XFL team, no offense, or a college team or a high school a high school staff? You know what I mean? Like a non-professional adult men's league. Why is that still happening?
I mean, it's layers to that. It's one of those things. Coaches, they're a creature of their habit and stuff. When you have a game plan that you prepare all week and you try to follow, most offensive coordinators have plays that they work on all week, and then they have player plays where it's focused on certain players. And sometimes you can just get caught up in the moment. I mean, it's like, you're playing chess, not checkers and stuff. So you're trying to figure out what to work against this defense, what to work against here. We thought this will work, but it's not working. Do we change and go to this? Because you got to remember some of the stuff, you can't practice in 3 days everything. So you have a lot of things that you practice more than others. So when your main plays and stuff are not working, you don't have a lot of time spent during a week on those other plays. So then it comes to a coach like, okay, am I comfortable calling those other plays? Or do we go to player-led plays called now and things like that? So there's a lot of layers to that and figuring that out for OC and definitely for defense coordinator. Defense coordinator, you have no idea what the offense is going to do other than what you saw on film all week. But offense can change that, and then you're, back to the drawing board.
Donnie, don't we as fans, and I'm sure everybody watching, we fall into this false sense of what it's like the other 55 minutes of the game, right? Clearly, especially in the first drive, the Saints are trying to keep the ball in front of them. They're not necessarily attacking on defense. They're trying to make us run clock, right? They're the way that they're attacking us is different. And clearly we are in desperation mode. We're trying to push the ball down the field and score points quickly. But, it seems like we don't get to that point mentally until, the game is on the fucking line. But could you carry that type of mentality without having the defense playing in that softer, more of a prevent style?
You said it perfectly. It's the style of the game that the defense is playing in. Mm-hmm. At the end of the game, the defense is going to be more, I don't want to say a prevent, but they're going to be more of not wanting to let the ball get over their head or get behind them. So they probably won't be playing as aggressive as they do early on in the game. Could we start off like we finished? Uh, I don't know. I just don't know if you can maintain that the whole game, because you got to remember that last, you know, 3 4 minutes or so, that's like a elevated heart rate. That's like
Yeah.
a that's like a pounding moment. Just imagine how you feel in the stands as a fan, how that moment felt. Just imagine if you had to go run around and still feel like that. If you had to run through the ladders like y'all did at the House of Athletes and still feel that heart pounding like adrenaline.
Mhm.
So it's hard to carry that for 4 quarters. That's why Mo is real. Momentum only happens for short periods of time. You can't have momentum the whole game. It doesn't happen. You can't, you can't run a 2 minute thing the whole game. You just can't do it.
Did we talk about Chip Kelly tried that, right?
Yeah,
It doesn't work.
That wore out
you
his
just can't
defense.
do it.
Yeah, we're not asking to run that hurry up offense the whole game. I know that doesn't work. It tires out the defense. Plus, it tires out your offensive lineman. They're not going to block as strong as willingly, even 6 7 plays into that fucking nonsense, because they're like, hey, dude, fuck, I'm not supposed to be doing this. But
Right.
it's more so the mentality of the team. It's like they don't hit the panic button until they absolutely have to hit the panic button. But it's not necessarily panicking. Like when they finally call a play action on first down, or they don't decide to run and it ends up being an incompletion, Donnie, they are going to run the ball on that second down no matter what. It's this like mentality of, let's not be in 3rd and 10, let's be in 3rd and 8, which makes zero fucking sense because it's just as difficult at this point, and it makes everything look so difficult that we're calling such a vanilla approach on offense where we have these weapons and we can, if we took 3 straight dropbacks and we took shots over the top, I would be fine. Be like, you know what? We're fucking trying. But when we're handing the ball off on first down and we're throwing a little dump off on second down, and 3rd down you're throwing short of the sticks, it's like with your back towards the fucking defense. Like at that point, it feels like you're not even really trying to get the ball down the field. You're just trying not to lose the game. Now, as a player, do you pick up on that? As a coach, how do you play under that umbrella where it feels like you're just trying not to lose the game as opposed to going out there and punching the fucking guy in the face first bell?
Well, I wouldn't say we're not trying to lose. We're not trying to lose the game. I just think
That's what it feels like, Donnie. That's what it feels like.
Well, exactly. You said it absolutely right. That's what it feels like to the fans. It feels like that, but not to the players. When a player get a ball in his hand, whether he's throwing it to a back or receiver, you're trying to make the defender miss. And a lot of times, if teams are playing man to man and you throw to a back, he has a one-on-one with a linebacker. So I wouldn't say they're not trying to make plays or not trying to win. They're just trying to get to matchups where they feel they got an advantage on, and the backs can present matchup problems versus linebackers. So they're trying to make plays. They're trying to do what they're supposed to do. It's just one of those years, guys. I mean, it's just where the offense is just not clicking right now. But the great thing about it is 6-6, still in the division lead, and still have a chance to click. Because if you still remember our Super Bowl run, we didn't click until like the last 5 or 6 weeks of the season going into the playoffs. So it's still time to click. I know it doesn't look promising right now.
We scored more than 3 points, in 57 minutes, the majority of those games. Shit, we almost scored fucking 28 in almost every single one of those games.
Right.
It just feels like it's an uphill battle, and it just feels like I said, it feels and it looks like they're trying not to throw the game as opposed to just
and it feels like that, guys, because we're not used to it. We're not used to seeing a Tom Brady led offense be like this. And that's why it feels that way. But again, that's just a feeling, that I hope our fans can understand. It's just a feeling, like, because we haven't seen this from a Tom Brady led offense. So we don't know how to feel, really.
Stank. Oh, actually, real quick, while you gather your thoughts, Stank, we had a super chat from Pelagic Computer. awesome human being, by the way. We don't need to go up tempo the entire game. Mix it up, throw it in every third or fourth possession. Throw in more play action, run more out of 10 and 11 personnel. Again, I totally agree. And Donnie, when you're a defense and you're seeing them run so consistently out of run obvious situations, does that not make it easier for you guys to prepare one and to go through your keys pre-snap and kind of understand what's coming at you, as opposed to 10 or 11 personnel where you're like, hey, anything could kind of come at me? Or when Tom decides to be in shotgun on 3rd and 1 and tell his running back to go line up, in the slot, that kind of telegraphs what you're going to do. Does it not help you to play against a team that seems so, I don't know what else, vanilla? It just seems like they're giving you the playbook at that point, the way they line up. Or am I just a fan being a fucking dumb fan?
Well, I mean, it's just tendencies. It's like how you have every team, every offense, every defense has tendencies. It's how often do you step out of that shell to change those tendencies? And that's what it comes down to. Offensive and a defensive play caller is a very difficult thing. Like, I understand the fans are sitting in the stands and they have their certain feelings. I understand that the fans will say, well, this is what the guys get paid to do. But that still don't mean it's not difficult. Being an offensive coordinator calling plays and a defense coordinator calling plays is very difficult. I'm about to go through that now. And it's even driving me nuts. And we haven't even gotten to practice yet. Because when you're setting up your scheme, you have to account for everything defensively. Everything that the offense can possibly do, you have to account for, and you have to make sure everything is sound, and you have to make sure that your players can get it. So it drives you nuts, because when you see something on the computer screen, then you be like, oh, I don't know, this might be too difficult. If they make this adjustments for us to get, we may have to change this. So now you're fighting with, okay, do I change this? Because if you change it in one scheme, guess what? You got to change it in another defense. And it just becomes over and over and over again. So trust me, guys, all the fans listening to this, is very difficult. These guys make it look easier, but it is hard to be an offensive play caller and a defensive play caller. And like I said, I'm about to go through this, and I'm expecting it to be a whirlwind. Like, it's going to be some issues, but again, when you go through adversity, you get better. So Byron has been doing this for a while. He's going to continue to get better. He's going to learn from this. Coach Bowles he's a veteran defensive play caller. He's probably more comfortable with it. But it is not an easy thing, guys, to construct the offense and the defense, and to have 11 guys on the same play on every snap.
I gotta say, I know we haven't been facing necessarily juggernauts on offense, but Bowles has done a hell of a job calling plays, especially with all the injuries we've had in the secondary, and then losing Shaq Barrett, and you got guys off the street like Carl Nassib, who you're asking to play some meaningful minutes and produce.
And he's producing too. He's producing.
Yeah, and he's producing. He is producing.
Mm-hmm.
And Levante was limping out there yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw that. He wasn't playing at full strength. We were banged up, and they don't necessarily have that offense, but they got enough weapons. Olave's the real deal.
Right.
And people can cry for Jameis all they want. I thought Andy played a hell of a game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So they gave us all we could handle out there, and we stood up. We stood on our heads when it mattered most, man. As soon as we punted, I was like, man, the defense has been on the field the whole game. On the what we talked about earlier. What should we punt in that situation?
You turned right to me and said, "Are they going to be able to hold again?
Like
one more time?" And Donnie knows
they've held two more times.
Donnie knows how that feels like.
Yeah, I just think in that moment, man, I know it didn't look good for us, but I felt good about us punting, because I just felt that our defense would rise, and step up. So I was happy.
You're defensive coordinator, Donnie. You're defensive coordinator now. Of course you're gonna fucking say that, man.
Hey, Donnie, we're hard on our corners here. I talked a lot about Jamel Dean, and he really has kind of turned the corner, even though I wish he would still turn around and look for the ball a little bit more. But Zion McCollum last night didn't look like an NFL cornerback. What did you see anything from him out there? Does he look like he's swimming? What's the deal with Zion? He look like he can't tackle, can't cover.
Yeah, why can't he tackle week 13 after training camp and everything as a rookie? Like, is that something that just takes time with speed?
You just said it, Sam. He's a what?
I mean, that's what I'm asking. Is it just take time for you to learn how to tackle as a rookie? Like, really?
Yeah, he's a rookie right now. What week are we in?
13.
13.
We're about to be 14.
And if you include the preseason,
he's gone through camp 20. Let's say 20-ish weeks.
They call a season well over. It takes time to adjust to an NFL season, just like it takes time for an athlete to go from high school to college because you got more games, and now to go from college to pros. It take a minute for that adjustment. It does. I can remember being a rookie, and I played a lot as a rookie. You know, started 12 games. I remember this one game against Detroit. And I got to the point where I was so fatigued, like I was done. I was ready to risk it all and be like, the hell with this. That's how tired I was. So I felt like y'all felt at the House of Athletes.
Oh, I don't know about that, bro.
That's how bad I felt. And we were playing a lot of man coverage, and the receivers just running crossing routes, and I'm chasing Herman Moore from Detroit across the field. And I was so gassed. Like I was done. I was ready to risk it all and say, hell, forget the NFL. I'm so doggone tired, you know. So it takes a minute for your body physically to adjust to an NFL season. You know, this guy's a rookie. I guarantee he's giving it everything he's got. But if your body said, man, we supposed to be done right now because your body's still used to college, ain't nothing you can do. It's nothing you can do when your body shuts down. Nothing. I don't care how mentally tough you are. It's nothing you can do. He's at that point right now as a rookie because he's played some as a rookie. I wouldn't say he's played a lot, but he has played more than most rookies. You know, so he's probably feeling it around physically because it's a long season, and then we added a game. You know, they got 17 games now, 18 weeks. You know, so he's feeling it right now. I mean, I guarantee he's fighting. He's giving everything he has. Just at this point, man, it's just he's a rookie. It's a long season. Physically, it takes some time for your body to adjust to playing in the NFL and at this level because the energy that you put out at the NFL level is different than the energy you put out at a college level because you're facing more elite athletes. So you're really giving more of an elite effort, which takes more elite stamina and physicality and all of that. You know, so he's giving his best. You know, he's giving his all.
You could tell he's a corner. Even when we draft or a rookie, you could tell when we drafted him though that he was going to be a project, and we were hoping that he wasn't thrust into the lineup unless he took someone's job in camp at that point. But you could tell that he seems to be. One, he hasn't adjusted to the speed of the guys around him and the guys he's facing, how the scheme works, how they're confusing him from the offensive standpoint. Like all that stuff is happening. And whenever he's thrust in there, once the quarterback we're facing finds out who McCollum is, that's the fillet for the night. And they keep going back to it. And what drives me drove us nuts in the stands is how does cornerback 5 end up ever on Olave, like on wide receiver 1? Like how
they schemed him there though. They did that.
I get that, but there's got to be ways to prevent that from happening. There's got to be like, hey, Carlton Davis, you are following a lot of it no matter what. And there's multiple times. It wasn't just that one play where he did get schemed on him. Multiple times where he lines up like right at him. And that point, good quarterback just has to find him. But I want to go back to you saying that you were a defensive coordinator, Donnie. As a defensive coordinator, do you have a play where you have your gigantic 350-pound fucking monster defensive tackle lined up as a linebacker, running full speed pre-snap at the offensive line? I mean, do you have a play like that in your fucking scheme? And what? What?
You know what? If we have a Vita Vea on our defense, we're gonna make sure we line him up like that. That's gonna happen. This dude can drop in coverage, and he can drop in coverage, and now he can be off the ball 5 yards and full on blitz. So.
Did you see what he did? He blitzed full speed. I was waiting for bodies to just explode. like sinew and blood and just everything, just everywhere.
But can you imagine how fun and happy Vita Vea is probably when Coach puts this in? He was like, I'm gonna be able to stand up and I'm gonna be able to run.
Full speed.
Full speed, not out of a 3.
Like a middle linebacker crashing the line.
Right.
But he's like close to 400 pounds. And Bowles is insane, by the way. I'm pretty sure I saw Vita lined up on Olave at one point, or at least like
somebody
like fake like he was going to cover Olave.
No, somebody beat Vita on a 3rd down. Vita was in coverage against a wide receiver, dude.
Yes,
and you're like, how's he that open? I looked, I was like, oh, Vita was trailing. Oh, yeah. Hey, Donnie, I need you to call up Vita and start working on his hands. Get him some technique. Give him some cornerback technique when he lines up his fucking 350-pound ass out there.
We've been saying it for a long time. Give that man the ball. Feed him near the goal line. You see what he can do. No, you say no.
No, we don't want Vita to get hurt.
Oh,
because
what do you mean? He's hurt.
He's laying hurt, Donnie.
Those defensive linemen ain't ready for that, bro. They're not ready to tackle Vita.
When you have big guys like that running the ball, what's the first thing defenders are gonna do?
Go for their knees.
Yes. Yeah. So
he's pretty fleet of foot.
Carrying the ball, it's like we would be sick.
He's pretty fleet of foot. I wish they would have gave him at least 1 carry in that Super Bowl.
If he could get down low enough to where his knees are just kind of like hiding behind his gut, there's nothing to grab onto. He's just a big old ball.
But he played running back in high school.
Yeah, well, what was he, 190 in high school?
No. He was huge. It wasn't fair.
Donnie, he hasn't grown since he was 13, all right? He's the same Vita from when he's 13 years old, man.
But you're going against high school players, though. Those kids probably look at him and ran the other way. You know?
Yeah, probably.
What would you have done if you're a running back, they hand you the ball, you saw him coming out pre-snap, what are you doing, Donnie?
If I saw Vita Vea coming pre-snap?
Yeah, and they handed you the ball, and you saw that all coming down. You're the running back.
I'm going the other way.
You're just dropping the ball. Nope.
Just go the other way. I'm taking a knee.
Hey, we have a question in the chat. Some guy named JC Montana says, so at what point do you guys move on to the next opponent? I think he really wants us to talk about his 49ers and Brock Purdy. Well, we're supposed to be scared of the 49ers and Brock Purdy. We're going to take a huge steaming pile of shit on your football team this week. 49er fan. You guys haven't won anything since my TV had 8 stations, okay? You have no rings, no nothing in like the last 40 years. So go home, okay?
Hey, just to answer your question, JC, we talk about the opponent usually later on in the week. We have multiple segments that do that. But this is called a post-game show, you fuck. What do you think we're going to talk about?
Well, they're stupid over there on the West Coast, dude. He probably smoked his brain out of his skull by the time he was 9 years old. Yep.
He just woke up. Man,
he did.
Well, tell them how you really feel then.
No, that was just a warm-up. Tune in later on in the week, JC.
Yeah. Tune into my major keys. I'll let you know my major keys to victory against the fucking Mr. Irrelevant. I love the guy's name, though. Purdy. Throws a Purdy ball.
Purdy Num-Nums?
Yeah. I don't know what that is.
I can tell you this, though. When you get a new quarterback, Todd Bowles is not going to be nice.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't think that, Donnie. A lot of people think he tends to play more zone and try to confuse the quarterback, whereas he just gives him more time to throw the ball around.
He's coming. He's coming.
This is firsthand knowledge. Are you breaking news right now, Donnie?
I'm always breaking news.
Todd told you that, hey, let these fuckers know on that show that Purdy guy is not going to be very Purdy looking at the end of the day or I'm done with him.
I think we match up well with what the 49ers try to do on offense, honestly.
They like to run the ball, which we have apparently. It looks like we figured out, how to stop the run. And Akeem Hicks, big deal there. I'm more worried about what their defense can do. They got Bosa. They got Armstead up in the middle. They got that safety that reminds me a lot of Troy Polamalu. They got, they got the Fred Warner. And they got guys at every fucking level and guys that can play at their level. And they just,
Right. No, their defense is good. Their defense is good.
Only thing I could say is that it's San Francisco. It's got a special place in Tom's heart. He's not a 49er. So I feel like he's going to come out there and be like, I got to stick my everything down these fuckers' throats. And maybe that helps us out.
It's going to be a low-scoring game.
Well, listen, I'm not afraid of their offense. I'm really not afraid of their defense. Hopefully, the people in charge of doing NFL drug testing visit Bosa this week and finally catch him with the needle in his ass. You know, because we all know, hey, we all know what's going on, Bosa. We all know, bro. We all know where you and your brother be doing on the weekends. They got, you know, great value, Chris Godwin and Deebo Samuels. Again, we're not afraid of you, bro. We're not. We're coming.
Josh Wells played a pretty good game though.
He sure did.
Right? So
Bosa doesn't want to see Josh Wells this week, does he?
I was about to say, I think Josh Wells has been tuning up all year for this moment to put Bosa in his fucking place. He's like, hey, Tristan Wirfs is not the only good right tackle on this team.
Yeah.
Donnie, before we end the show, I got to ask you, man, about this left tackle situation we got going on. Okay? I think Donovan Smith gets a little bit too much hate, but it is well-deserved at times. I will say that. Again, he's always facing the best guy on the opposing team in terms of the pass rusher. He's going to get the guy, they get paid. He's going to get their best moves. He's just going to have to deal with that. Some of his numbers with his penalties are a little skewed because this guy doesn't miss games. So I guarantee you he's played a lot more games than other left tackles he's being kind of compared to in terms of penalties. But he does have drive-killing moments. He does have plays where he either is going to get Tom killed or he holds to prevent him from getting killed, but then kills the drive. What do you do with the guy at that point who's just like, it seems like he's in his head. He seems like he's no longer as fast, as quick. Is that, again, the season? Does he look injured? Just your quick thoughts on Donovan Smith at this point, 8 years in.
So offensive tackles are like corners, or corners are like offensive tackles. Some of the techniques, believe it or not, are very similar. And I'm talking about corners playing man technique, man press. When offenses have to kick slide and all that for pass protection is very, very similar. Same thing that happened for corners. When they get lazy with their feet, they tend to do what? They grab.
Yep.
They grab and hold. Same thing for offensive tackles. Donovan just gets lazy or he gets fatigued, and then the first instinct is to grab and hold. And that's when he gets called for his penalties. So I can totally relate to it because I'm a defensive back at heart, coach at heart. So I'm always constantly telling my guys is footwork. Footwork makes the dream work. Active feet, then you won't feel like you have to hold. Donovan is a big dude. They run a lot of plays. He gets tired. He may get lazy on the play. And then the first thing you're going to do is grab. And sometimes, a lot of times, he can get away with it because when you, as an offensive lineman, when you grab and you put your weight on the defensive end, you can stone them most of the time. But if you got a defensive end that continues to work, continues to dip the shoulder and drive through, now it becomes a penalty because he's holding you. And that's kind of what happens to Don, my take on it, my personal take. So, I mean, don't quote me.
We're also playing a lot of snaps on offense. It's not like we're a quick scoring offense.
Right.
We're out there a lot, and the D-line gets to rotate.
Yeah.
The offensive line doesn't get to rotate. So those tackles are on the field no matter what's getting thrown at them. And, you know, it's unfortunate. I didn't think that was a holding
right
on that touchdown, honestly.
Yeah. But I didn't think it was either.
My thing too, whenever Donnie's been injured in moments in games, because he hasn't really missed, I think he's missed one game since we've drafted him, maybe two, but he has missed a couple snaps here or there. He's missed halves of games. When he is not in, everyone's screaming on how bad the person is who replaces him. So my thing's always been, you want to get rid of him. What's your solution or what's your replacement in that case? Because he may not be great all the time to people, and he had a hell of a 2020. I thought he played awesome in 2021 also.
He did.
But he's still a average to slightly above average left tackle, and he gets the job done. You replace him, you better get better. You're not getting fucking worse at your left tackle position. I guarantee you I can name 10, 11 teams that would be knocking on the Bucs front door ready as fuck to take Donovan off their fucking hands.
Listen, he struggled against Bradley Chubb. Everybody struggles against Bradley Chubb.
He's a fucking freak, and he's that's what my point is. Like,
he had one bad holding play in this game, but I don't know. I don't want to shit on Donnie. I don't think he's playing bad.
I don't think he's playing bad either. I think he's playing fine. Yes, he's had a lot of penalties thrown on him, but he's playing good football. So he's definitely above average tackle.
It's just like
he's one of those guys. Well, he's one of those guys like if you don't know what you had until he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then you'd be like, oh shoot, because he's been consistent. He doesn't get hurt much. He's always there. And it's one of them things where if he would leave or whatever happened, then we would be like, oh shoot, we didn't realize, he was pretty good.
I think I compare him a lot sometimes, not so much the mannerisms and the off the field nonsense, but the way he was treated when he was here, Aqib Talib. Good corner. I thought he had moments of greatness, but people just constantly rat. And you're like, dude, wait till this guy leaves. And we went like 10 fucking years without a goddamn corner who could stop anybody. But it's just like if I ragged on you, if you got beat by Michael Irvin or Jerry Rice, which I know didn't happen, Donnie. But if, this hypothetical, if this had ever happened, it's like, Donnie, I mean, it's fucking Jerry Rice. What am I going to do? Sometimes Jerry's going to win, but most of the time Iceman's going to win. So it makes sense. So I feel a little bad sometimes for Donnie because I don't. Oh, you guys are both Donnie, by the way. Now I get it. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense.
You got to stand up for the Donnies.
That's right. Represent the Donnies. All right, we're going to take one phone call and then we'll wrap it up. Got one caller who has been waiting the entire time.
Who's a special caller? Who's a special caller?
I don't know. He's been waiting the entire time. 813.
This better be good.
The most patient caller we have ever had. Floor is yours. Go ahead.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's Matty Ice.
Matty Ice.
What up, Matty?
What's up, man?
What's going on?
What up, baby?
Well, number one, just want to say the normal. Fuck the Saints.
Fuck the Saints.
Start that off right.
Donnie, I don't know if you saw that, but I had a little kid cursing on Twitter yesterday saying fuck the Saints.
I didn't see
that.
You check it out.
Yeah, like mine. So anyways.
you heard the little kid in the background. Yep. We're the number one podcast for children cursing, honestly.
Yes.
On the internet.
Hey, that's okay.
Big deal.
You got to raise them up right. You know what I mean? So I just got a couple questions. Well, a couple statements for you guys real quick. I'll make it quick. I know 30 seconds in and out, but I like the way they were mixing up their backs. Rashad White might be like the next coming of work done, in my opinion. I don't know. But it just seems like to me like they're playing a little scared. I mean, I don't know. I mean, because I'm not calling the plays, but I don't know if that's Brady calling the plays on these last 2-minute drives and just winging it or what. It seems like that's the only time we can do anything. And then, Brady is throwing fast. He's missing. We've seen him, overthrow some people, underthrow some people, but he is missing 4 linemen. I mean, and the one that we got held on just about every play. We got lucky, only got called on a couple, The defense is balling out, minus our backfield, half of it missing. So my question to you guys is, what do you think our playoff chances are going in,
Donnie, we'll let you answer first.
I mean, I think our playoff chances are good, just because of the division we're in. So I think we get in. I think we'll host a first round playoff game by being division winners. And then from there, I think anything can happen. We can get into that rhythm again and get into a groove. And I feel good about Tampa, even though I know our fans don't, but I feel pretty good about them.
Stank?
Oh, yeah, definitely getting in. I just mean like a deeper playoff run,
Well, once you get in, anything can happen. Anything can happen then, especially hosting the game. They're going to be ready to play in front of their home fans and stuff. So, yeah.
I'm superstitious. I don't want to talk about the fucking playoffs. All right, we got to beat the 49ers this week. Then we got to beat Cincinnati. And we've got more games to play, and I'm not counting a damn chicken until it's hatching. Not one. So I don't want to hear you guys talk about playoffs on the show anymore. Playoffs.
I will say this, Matty Ice. I have witnessed, as you have, many wild card teams win a Super Bowl, and the teams that you would never assume would win the Super Bowl. I mean, the Green Bay Packers.
We won't be a wild card though, Sammer.
I'm just saying, teams who are at the lowest spot in the tournament have won and gone on the road. We did it when we won the Super Bowl with Tom the first time.
Yeah, we were a wild card team. When we
Aaron Rodgers' team accidentally fell into the playoffs and ran the table with practice squad secondary across the board. And they still somehow played out of their minds, won a Super Bowl. The Giants beat the undefeated Patriots in the Super Bowl as a wild card team, and then barely slid into the Super Bowl, into the playoffs the next time. They ended up beating Tom Brady again in the Super Bowl. Eli fucking Manning twice, right? So get to the fucking tournament and then let the chips fall as they may. You never know. Hot teams get hot. some teams who are hot start, you don't want to be the Eagles peaking in fucking November. You want to be peaking later on. You never know, man. Something like this team has not clicked, which makes you think maybe they could click or maybe not. So I don't know. We'll see. I just know it's not out of the realm of possibility for something like that to happen because it's happened multiple times. And you just need somebody to get hot. I mean, fuck, the Ravens won because Joe Flacco, one of the most fucking volatile quarterbacks in NFL history, had the greatest postseason run ever by a quarterback. Shit happens.
Even Trent Dilfer.
Yeah. Hey, Donnie. Hey, Trent Dilfer's guy won.
Yep.
Hey,
Donnie, I found a Trent Dilfer jersey at the flea market a couple weeks ago. I
No.
had to buy it. I'm still trying to find a Donnie jersey.
Good call,
I
Matty
need
Ice.
one. I need one in the background right here, bro. We all do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. What the
you.
fuck? I got a barber. But I mean, I'd rather have Iceman, next to it.
Yeah. Rhonda keeps ducking us. We see him on the golf course. He's like, "Yeah, we'll come on the show." Where you at, Rondé?
I think Rondé's afraid of his brand being tarnished by this magnificent show.
Well, I think that he knows what Donnie brings to the table. He's not going to come on here.
He can't match
because
it.
I don't think he can reach or attain that level. We already got our Hall of Fame cornerback.
That's right. I'm Hall of Fame, baby.
We don't need
He's like,
a guy
where
who's
do I
trying to
fit
get
in?
in the Hall of Fame. We got a Hall of Famer.
Where do I fit
I'm a loose cannon Hall of Fame.
That's what I'm saying. You already got a jacket.
He's a real Hall of Fame.
I mean, so
Maybe if Ira Kaufman can, eat a extra beet salad, he might get into the Hall of Fame this year. But come on.
But listen, I will say, unlike Tom Brady, we gave y'all 60 minutes of absolute perfect performance tonight. Did we not? We didn't go 57 minutes of pure garbage and 3 minutes of glory. We gave you guys 60 minutes of glory tonight. Donnie,
We scored on the opening drive and we never stopped.
we haven't
Absolutely.
stopped. We're averaging 35 a night. Donnie, thank you so much for hanging out. I know you've been crazy busy with the XFL draft, getting your guys ready to ramp up. Number one defense in the fucking XFL. I can't wait to join the coaching staff. Can't wait to join the coaching staff. And you know what? I want you to tell USF to fuck off because they made a gigantic mistake.
Huge.
Did they not, Donnie? Did they not? You should be.
I never even heard of that guy before.
You should be holding up the horns, dude. Not some fucking guy calling plays for Tennessee.
It's all right.
Get the fuck
Listen,
outta here.
Donnie's price just went up. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. The price yesterday's price is not today's price. Donnie's price just went up. That's okay, USF.
Listen,
Pay more later.
They went after the wrong Pro Bowl 21 corner. That's all I'm saying. They went after the
Sammer,
wrong
before you wrap up, listen.
Which I don't.
All you morons watching the show right now, all you idiots watching this show right now,
here we go.
I have my own podcast on this channel. It's called The Buccaneers. If you want to be a part of my show, it's a call-in show, but you leave a message. And if you want to leave a message, you call right now, 813-444-2813. 2318. 813. See? Bucking idiots. 813-444-2318. I'll put it in the chat. Call me. Leave me a voicemail. 49ers fan. Call me, little bitch. Leave me a voicemail. Don't be scared.
Can we get a fuck the Saints just to reiterate?
You already know. You'd already know. Who y'all face the first team of the season, Donnie?
We don't know the schedule yet. So we're doing the league uniform reveal tomorrow at 1:00. So they're gonna reveal all the uniforms for the league tomorrow at 1.
Well, listen, we'll end this show with a caw.
Is that the fight sound?
That's the battle call for the fucking Battlehawks.
Battlehawks call, baby.
Caw.
Oh, Battlehawks. This is a Battlehawks podcast
Damn
here.
right. Hey, Donnie, do we need a
Battlehawks.
Battlehawks podcast? Once a week, you tell us how it goes after the game?
Oh, we can do a Battlehawks. Yeah, I like that.
Wait, we're gonna be on the sidelines anyway, so we can do on the field.
We'll call it caw cannons.
Cacao cannons.
This show
Somebody
stinks.
hit.
Bye.
Somebody in the chat hit with a cacao.
Caw. This fucking show stinks. Bye. Go Bucs.